Hello, it's very good to have you with us on ERi-TV for English news broadcasts live from the headquarters in Asmara at exactly 10:30 p.m. local time. Today is Thursday, 2nd of March 2023. First, the top stars. President Isaias returns home, concluding work and visit to Saudi Arabia. Eritrea participates at the 19th Summit of Non-Aligned Movement. China and Belarus presidents call for establishing peace in Ukraine. At G20 meeting, India's Prime Minister says global governance has failed. President Isaias returned home in mid-morning hours today, 2nd of March, after a fruitful two-day working visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. At the meeting, President Isaias and the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia held yesterday, Eritrea and Saudi Arabia have agreed on a broad framework and spectrum of bilateral partnership that will enhance current and future interests of both countries. President Isaias conducted the two-day working visit on the invitation of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Eritrea participated today, March 2, at the 19th Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement, which was held in Baku, Azerbaijan. Representing Eritrea, Mr. Mikhail Hagos, First Secretary of the Embassy of Eritrea in Russia, participated at the summit, in which leaders and representatives of 120 countries took part. The objective of the 19th Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement, which was conducted under the theme, focused on the role of the movement in making an effective contribution in the reviving global economy that is severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Non-Aligned Movement, which was founded in 1961, currently has 120 member states, 18 observer states, and 10 observer international organizations. The College of Engineering and Technology has graduated over 270 students in various vocational fields. According to Mr. Filmon Melake, head of the youth organization at the college, a 3-month training program was organized to students of the college on various fields, including satellite dish and electrical installation, as well as video editing. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, the Dean of the College of Engineering and Technology, in Mainafhi, Dr. Kahsai Ngusa, indicating that the training program was foundational, called on the trainees to practically upgrade their skills. Mrs. Mansoura Ismail, the head of National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students, branches in Sawa and higher education institutions, on her part, called on the trainees to strengthen organizational capacity. Finally, an exhibition that was organized by the trainees was presented to participants. Adult education program being conducted on the 16 administrative areas of Aordet subzone is registering commendable outcome. Speaking to Arena, supervisor of the adult education program in Aordet subzone, Mr. Ahmed Idris stated that the program was organized to give educational opportunity for those who could not attend regular education for many reasons, as well as for children who could not start school on time, indicating that there are 990 overaged grade 1 to grade 3 students at the 2022 and 2023 academic year. Mr. Ahmed called on the society to strengthen participation in the success of adult education program. International news follows after a short break. Stay tuned. China President Xi Jinping and his Belarusian counterpart Alexander Lukashenko have called for a ceasefire and negotiation to bring about a political settlement to the Ukraine conflict at talk in Beijing. The two leaders issued a joint statement on Wednesday in which they expressed a deep concern about the development of the armed conflict in the European region and extreme interest in the soonest possible establishment of peace in Ukraine. This is according to the Belarusian state news agency. Belarus and China are interested in averting an escalation of the crisis and ready to make efforts to restore regional peace and order, added the agency. Their summit brought together two of the foreign leaders on whom Russian President Vladimir Putin is most reliant for support as his army struggles to achieve the goal of its year-old conflict with Ukraine. Beijing has become increasingly vocal in calling for peace and as the Ukrainian conflict drags on and denied it would provide arms to Moscow after U.S. officials said China was considering doing so. Last week, it issued a 12-point paper calling for a comprehensive ceasefire in Ukraine that largely summarized China's previous stance and met skepticism in the West. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has criticized global institutions for failing to address the world's biggest challenge, calling on countries to find common ground on divisive issues. Speaking at the opening of the Group of 20 Foreign Ministers meeting in New Delhi on Thursday, Modi said that countries should acknowledge that multilateralism is currently in crisis. Modi said in a record statement that the experience of the last few years, financial crisis, climate change, pandemic, terrorism, and wars clearly show that global governance has failed. Modi also added that issues that can be resolved should not be allowed to come together in the way of those which can't. India holds the G20 presidency this year, but New Delhi's long-standing security ties with Moscow have put the host of today's meeting in an awkward position. India, being a major buyer of Russian armament and energy, has not directly condemned Russia's conflict with Ukraine. On Wednesday, India Foreign Minister Secretary Vinay Kwatra said Russia's war in Ukraine is expected to be an important point of discussion at the meeting. New Delhi is also keen to steer the talks toward issues affecting the global south, such as poverty eradication and climate change. And now let's have a quick review of the top stories. President Isaias returns home concluding work visit to Saudi Arabia. Eritrea participates at the 19th Summit of Non-Aligned Movement. China and Belarus presidents call for establishing peace in Ukraine. At G20 meeting, India's Prime Minister says global governance has failed. It was me, Salim Brhana, with the news for tonight. Thank you for being with us.